The NFL has a great collection of elite quarterback talent in today's game, so today I'm here to rank them in a similar way to my wide receiver video. As the league is so talented, it would be difficult to rank these players individually, so I have decided to do it by division. I'm here to determine the division with the best QB collection. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. In 8th place, we got the NFC South. Kirk Cousins is the best QB in this division, even coming off an Achilles tear. Kirk has been a very solid to good quarterback for his entire career as he hopes to elevate the Falcons. Kirk is a top half of the league guy when it comes to QBs and will be a massive upgrade for the Falcons. Baker Mayfield also had a great bounce back year on the Bucs as he revived his career. He played very solid, throwing for 28 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. He is the ultimate bridge quarterback for the Bucs as he has proved he is good enough to win playoff games and keep Tampa competitive for the next couple seasons. Bryce Young had an absolute disastrous rookie season, in large part to poor coaching, terrible offensive line, and wide receiver play. However, after revamping the offense throughout the offseason, Bryce Young and the Panthers look to bounce back. Lastly, we have Derek Carr, who might be the most mid QB in the league at this point. He's not that good, but he isn't completely trash. With this collection of QBs, they are clearly the worst group. In 7th place, we got the NFC East. The two at the top are Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. Dak had an MVP level season last year, and he was playing the best football of his entire career and was an elite QB for a large part of the season. However, his season ended in disaster as he broke down against a mad defense with the Packers. Even after having a great season, he is still waiting for his contract extension. Jalen Hurts had an MVP-type season in 2022, but had taken a step back last year as he threw for more interceptions. He is the best goal line QB in the league and is a good passer. However, along with the Eagles, he fell off after an 8-1, 8-0 start. He threw 15 picks opposed to 6 the previous year. Hopefully he can bounce back to go from a great QB to an elite QB again. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. He had a solid 2022 season but completely fell off last season due to injury and terrible play. Daniel Jones is a bottom-of-the-barrel QB and should be replaced after the season. Lastly, rookie Jayden Daniels looks to take the Commanders back to success. The Heisman winner has a lot of potential to be great but is completely unproven as of now. I expect him to have a solid rookie year but nothing too crazy. This group is clearly carried by Hurts and Dak. In 6th place, we have the AFC West. Patrick Mahomes has been the best quarterback in the league for the past 4 or so years. He's on pace to smash every single QB record imaginable and is on track to win many more Super Bowls. Nothing else needs to be explained. Justin Herbert is an elite QB and has had an incredible start to his career. He's held back by the Chargers organization and terrible coaching. He has a top 3 arm in the league and is often disrespected. He will always play well and has proven to transcend terrible situations. However, the reason why the AFC West is so low, even though they have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, is due to the Raiders and Broncos. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Zach Wilson, and Bo Nix are either completely unproven, mid, or just completely trash. Minshew is the best out of this group, but is a mid, low-tier starter. O'Connell is unproven, even though he played decent in his last season with the Raiders. Bo Nix is a rookie, and Zach Wilson is a bust. These 4 bring down Mahomes and Herbert significantly. At 5th, we have the AFC South. C.J. Stroud had one of the best rookie seasons of all time last year that caught a lot of people, including myself, by surprise. In 1 year, he helped turn around the Texans organization and prove that he would be their franchise guy. He was borderline elite and is a future superstar in this league. With more weapons added to the Texans, Stroud could really take that step to have an MVP season next season. Trevor Lawrence, on the other hand, had a down year. After coming off a historic comeback playoff win, the Jaguars and Lawrence had high expectations. However, last year they had choked at the very end of the year and missed the playoffs. Hoping to bounce back, the Jaguars revamped their roster for playoff contention again. I still believe in Lawrence and think that a lot of last year's play is due to the receivers dropping balls and just mistakes that wasn't his fault. I expect him to enter top 10 conversations by the end of the year again. Anthony Richardson showed a lot of flashes in the 4 games he played in his rookie season, and I believe he is primed for a huge breakout season. Under Shane Steichen, I think he can be a great QB next year. He's the most athletic QB of all time, and he has so much potential to tap into that I believe will come into fruition next season. Lastly, Will Levis had a solid rookie season, and the Titans are giving their all to see what they have in him. They signed some weapons and revamped their team in order to determine how good he can be. I think Levis will be a solid starting quarterback next season. This division in general, but especially in quarterback play, has the brightest future in the entire league. In 4th place, we got the NFC North. Jordan Love had the greatest midseason quarterback turnaround in NFL history. He had the best pseudo-rookie season since Patrick Mahomes and proved that he is the next great Packers QB. He is borderline elite and established himself as the best QB in the NFC in his first year starting. This is just the beginning for him and the Love era Packers. Jared Goff had the best season of his entire career, helping the Lions reach the NFC Championship game for the first time in 30 plus years. He has really helped turn the Lions franchise around. Individually, he has cemented himself as a borderline top 10 QB in the league and is a great quarterback. Goff also had an MVP caliber season last year. Caleb Williams is next in line to be called the most hyped QB prospect, or he's the best college prospect of all time. Regardless of those titles, he's a generational talent with incredible potential. The Bears have set him up for success after forming a great wide receiver trio, and he can come out the gate swinging. I believe in Caleb and all his potential, and I believe he will be an elite QB in a couple years. Lastly, we have Sam Darnold, who is Sam Darnold. JJ McCarthy is a Vikings rookie QB who has some potential and could play well with the weapons around him. However, he is still very raw, and I wouldn't be shocked if he struggles out the gate eventually when he starts. In third place, we got the NFC West. Matthew Stafford has another great season for the Rams despite missing 2 games at age 35. He still has one of the best arms in the league and is still one of the most talented QBs we've ever seen. He is still borderline elite and can be put in top 10 conversations. He helped elevate Puka into becoming one of the greatest rookie wide receivers of all time after elevating Kupp to the greatest receiver season of all time. He's a ceiling and floor raiser for his team and his weapons. Kyler Murray will come back from his injury from last year with an MVP-like season. He still has his legs, his skill, and his talent to be a top 10 and elite QB in the league. After drafting Marvin Harrison Jr., the Cardinals finally have another number 1 wide receiver again. Last time that happened, Kyler was in MVP talks every single game he played in. With a new offense, I expect him to come back strong. Brock Purdy has had an incredible start to his career, especially considering he was Mr. Irrelevant. After coming off an incredible MVP-like season and a Super Bowl loss, he is a controversial figure. While I personally question if he is elite or not, he is certainly a great quarterback. He is the point guard of one of the greatest collection of weapons the league has ever seen and plays that role perfectly. With him only being 24, the sky's the limit. Lastly, Geno Smith had one of the best comeback seasons of all time in 2022 and has proven to be a good starter from here on out. He is a very solid quarterback that's around the 20 to 15 range. With him being the worst in the division, the NFC West is stacked. At second is the AFC North. Lamar Jackson has just won his second MVP after a dominant year with the Ravens. He's the greatest dual-threat QB of all time and has turned into a great passer. Doing all this with the elite wide receiver is crazy as well. He's the greatest rushing QB of all time as well. We know how good Lamar is, and he's just solidified himself as the 3rd best QB in the league. After an injury-riddled season, Joe Burrow looks to bounce back next season with the Bengals. He's been an elite QB ever since his 2nd season, and he helped turn around one of the most miserable franchises in the league. He's an elite processor of the field, he has a great IQ, and is a top 5 QB in the league. I can't wait to see a healthy Joe Burrow run through the league yet again. Can Russell Wilson turn back the clock in Pittsburgh? After a terrible 2022 season, he bounced back to have a very solid 23 season. With an improved offense, more weapons, and a better team around him, there's no reason for him to not be 80 to 85% of what Prime Wilson was. I hope and I believe that he will bounce back on the Steelers and have a vintage Wilson season yet again. Lastly, we have Deshaun Watson, who is now washed and might be completely trash. However, on the off chance that he can bounce back, this division will be number 1. If this division was all in its prime, this might be one of the greatest QB divisions of all time. At first is the AFC East. Josh Allen is the best QB in the league not named Patrick Mahomes. He's a generational talent that is one of the best dual-threat QBs of all time. He's a top 3 arm in the league and one of the best of all time, and he's been elite ever since his breakout season. He's had 4 4K yard seasons and 4 40 total touchdown seasons in a row. He's truly a special talent. Even though he throws a lot of interceptions, he's played amazing in the playoffs, and that's never hindered them from advancing. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest QBs of all time. He's a one-of-one talent, and he might be the most special QB of all time. After coming off an Achilles tear at age 40, it is fair to question how good he can be next season. He was even kinda on the decline in his last season in Green Bay. However, I still believe in A-Rod to have an elite season. He's had some great weapons, a good running back behind him, and a great defense as well. A motivated Aaron Rodgers is very scary, and last time that happened, he went back-to-back in MVPs. Tua just led the league in passing yards last season. He also played like an elite top 5 QB in the league for a large majority of the season. He led the Dolphins offense that was on pace to be the greatest ever in the first 5 weeks of the season. While I don't think he's an elite QB, he's a good to great QB similar to Jared Goff. He's the perfect QB for the Dolphins and Mike McDaniels as well. Lastly, we have Drake May, who was the 2nd overall pick in the draft. There were some talks of him going over Caleb Williams in the draft because he is that talented. Unfortunately, while I believe in him, I think he will struggle in his rookie season due to the lack of support from the Patriots. While he has all the talent and I believe he will be a great QB, he is unproven and in a bad situation. The NFL really has a great collection of QBs right now with a variety of skill sets and talents. Each division has a great to elite QB to watch and to root for. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.